I'm Mercedes Moss, and I am back again with how to use WordPress tutorials. We finished two videos. One was an overview of the course, and the one prior to this was a tour of the WordPress admin. So now we are about to do video 3, which is the WordPress settings. I'll have to move my head a bit, say goodbye. And this is the WordPress settings. We are logging into our WordPress website. You go to your URL /wp-admin or /wp-admin or /wp-login.php. So here is your familiar dashboard. You're coming down on the left-hand side until you get to settings. And well, my screen is hyperactive as usual, but one of the first things we get to when we will click on is the general settings. Now, what settings do? Settings are very, very important for customizing your WordPress site. If you look here, you'd see on the settings, it's general, writing, reading, discussion, media, permalinks, privacy. Well, here is a plugin. Now, it is very, very important for you to configure the settings shortly after you log in for the very first time. This is the very first thing I do. If you do nothing else, one of the things you must do is permalinks. And I'll explain what the permalinks are in a minute. But if you do nothing else in your WordPress website, the first thing you should do is come to settings, permalinks. So settings are very, very important because you need to configure this area correctly so that your WordPress website can function properly, especially in the area of permalinks. So let's go to general settings. As I said, general, writing, reading, discussion, media, permalinks, and well, privacy is added there by WordPress.org. Okay, so general settings, that's the title of your site. You could always change it, but if you're going to change it, I recommend that you do not do this like midway after you've been running your site for like weeks, because it's going to cause some confusion in the search engines. People would have been accustomed to your site being a particular title. And in fact, I recommend that your site title should be the same as your domain name. So if your domain name is busybody.com, your site title should ideally be busybody, because it helps, to match things up so that your keywords and your search terms remain consistent. This is your tagline. This is unusually short for me, but it's just a tagline. It's just a very short, catchy statement about what your site is about. So for example, this should really be demo site. I don't know why I forgot that it was demo site. This should be demo site, so I'm correcting that now. And it's just WordPress demonstrations. If you don't want the tagline to show up on your WordPress site, you could leave it blank. But the tagline could help with, your site being found, because it's sort of a description that comes up in the search engines when people are searching for WordPress. If they use the word demonstrations, maybe I should say something like tutorials, because if I do a keyword search, I don't think I saw the word demonstrations. So I'll just change this to tutorials. Okay, so here's your WordPress address. This would have been configured when you installed your site. Email address, Membership. If you want people to register on your site, you could click that. New user default role, in my case, would be subscriber, but I'm not asking anyone to subscribe here. Your site language. I need to change this to -4. This is your time zone. What you do, you click down here and your UTC. You could always check up your UTC in the search engines for your country. So whatever it is, you put it in here. Date format, you choose whatever format you want your dates to appear in. I usually like to see things laid out like that. So I generally choose month, day, and year. Time format, whatever time you want you choose one. Week starts on, I usually choose Sunday, so obviously I didn't fix this. So then you click Save Changes. So the next setting we're going to is writing settings. Writing settings. I kind of opened up my pages in advance and now maybe that was a disadvantage. Okay, so what does writing settings show you? It shows you what is your default post category. So, there are times when you might be using an Autoblog plugin to post content to your site. You could set the default post category. That is the category to which all posts would go unless you specify. So I'll put that uncategorized. You could also change the default. You could change this uncategorized category on the post categories, and I'll show you how to do that. I don't like to see uncategorized because I believe every post has I should categorize all of my posts. Standard default post format is what I usually choose, but there are other formats that you could choose. So for example, if you have if you're posting images only, maybe you might want to do gallery or images, or maybe you might want to use quotes. If it's a quote, the site is about quotations, etc. Or if it's video site, video. Allow users to switch editors. Now, the editor in WordPress I had shown you earlier, but I would recap here. Now, where did that go to? Right, the editor is the area where posts are typed. So now the reason why this is classic and block is because WordPress just recently updated. I think about 2 months ago, they had been testing a new editor called the Gutenberg. And the Gutenberg editor is in a block system so that you can now, I'll do a tutorial on this, on the Gutenberg block editor, so that now you could do things like, uh, embedding videos, etc., right in your post through blocks. Whereas with the classic editor, you would have had to do some different things to get the video in. So I don't. Let me see what if I have the block. Sometimes we tend to love the old. We don't love the new. So let's see. This is the editor where you write posts, and the classic editor is just a basic 2-line system that allows you to do, minimal, functions. Let me see. I do not have the block editor in this because sometimes I find, I just have to not be lazy. But the block editor, we'll do a post on the WordPress Gutenberg system because I find the block editor is very, very nice. You have a lot more features in it. So here, this is the classic editor. It just allows you to add media, to add headers, say what do you want, paragraphs, not add headers, but to highlight your headers, because in WordPress, according to Google Map Cuts, your first header in your post should be header 1. So for example, let's see if I have anything here. No, I don't have any text in this post yet because I'm using the video transcript. But your first header, so just suppose I say about this post, the first header should really be header 1, and then any other header after that, according to Matt Cutts in a video that I looked at, should be heading 2. So that, there's a sort of hierarchical arrangement of headers that allows the search engine robots to crawl your site more easily and to navigate your content. So this would give you bold, italics. This is bulleted list. It's the same like a Microsoft editor in a sense. If you're using Microsoft Word, this is a numbered list. This is a block quote, align left, align center, align right, insert a link. This one is insert read more, insert a read more tag. This one would toggle the toolbar so that the second line disappears. This is strike through horizontal line, text color, just like in Microsoft. This one is space, that's text, clear the formatting, special characters, decrease indent, increase indent, that's undo, redo, and this one is keyboard shortcuts. This one would get rid of that sidebar, so at the sidebar so that you could write without distractions. It's not doing that right now. Okay, right, there you go. And text would give you your content in HTML. HTML is just a squiggly doogly kind of code for writing. So that is the classic editor. And as I said, I do not have the block editor here. It should really have been installed as the default. But so you can install a plugin called Classic Editor that allows you to switch. Okay, so if I switch to Block Editor, you would see the editor come up in the block system, but I'll do that in another post. Allow users to switch editors, I should say, yes. Sometimes it's to my advantage to have the block, Okay, post via email, you can use that, but you'd have to do add some information here, and update services. Now, this is a pinging system, sort of like airlines. Whenever you publish a new post, WordPress automatically notifies the following site update services. And so whenever we publish a new post, Pingomatic would be informed. I have a list of numerous other sites that could be pinged whenever a post is published. But, sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I don't bother to to add the list here. But it helps with your search engine indexing. If the search engines are pinged, like ping, ping, ding, ding, a post is published over at demosite.leanmusclebody.com. They hurry on over, they crawl the post, they follow your links, they index you if you have things set up right, because we'll talk about on-page optimization at some other point in time. So things have to be set up right. So this is the writing settings. Now let's go to reading settings. Reading settings. Oh, I've got it twice. Reading. Now this one is an important area as well that tells you how your posts and pages are laid out. Remember, we said in the last video that posts are constantly updated, consist of constantly updated content, and those are arranged under categories. Tags are usually added to your post. Tags are keywords that people are using in the search engines to find the content that is, similar content to what you're writing. in your post, and therefore posts on your website should be constantly updating, with the most recent post usually being the first. I'll show you an example in a while. Now, so you can decide if your home page should display your latest post or a static page. So your home page would be the page that somebody lands on when they come to your website. So for example, my home page is https://demosite.leanmusclebody.com. Well, it depends on your themes. Some themes are different, but in WordPress, the home page is usually your URL. That usually. It may vary in some themes. It depends on how the theme is set up. So let's look. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you can decide if your home page should display your latest posts. So let's look at demosite.leanmusclebody.com. If you notice, going back, that my home page is set up to display my latest post. Okay, so if you look here, you will see that my home page, https://demosite.leanmusclebody.com, is demonstrating the post that I'm writing. So the last video that I did, WordPress, how to navigate the WordPress admin, is here. That's March 30th. Okay, and then WordPress tutorial on how to use WordPress, you see. So these are the latest posts, and as we said, they are in reverse order, with the most recent post being at the top. Okay, usually, although you can set something called sticky post. Now, there's another way to display your home page, and that you could decide that your home page should consist of a static page. So if you want to choose a static page, remember, pages usually do not update. So I could decide that my home page one should be GDPR, and that my post page, well, I would have to create a page for in this setting. I'd have to create a post that my post page, a page called something like blog. Sometimes it doesn't always work, but let me show you an example on another blog. It depends on the theme. Sometimes some theme creators set up things a little differently. Okay, let me show you. This is where the home page consists of a page. Okay, so you see here, this is the menu bar, and this is about freebies. This is my post. My posts are here. This is where I have a post. I have created a hyperlink to these categories. Check out my books, GDPR compliance. So in this situation, I've set up my homepage to a page called About Freebies. Because I just decided that that's how I want it, because I want people to meet this page first, so that's that. Okay, here's another example. In this website, pimi.highticketaffiliate.org, I decided that my homepage would consist of this page, free 30-day email autoresponder trial, because I wanted people to see this offer, which is a free 30-day trial to a lucrative internet marketing opportunity first when they come here. Apart from that, if they don't want to see that, they could also always come to the menu bar, and they can click around. They can go to the blog, they can read content, they can go here to GDPR, but this is the home page. Let me just show you the membership site that we're inviting you to, members.leanmusclebody.com. This site has the home page set up to the courses that we're offering on the site. And that is because that's what I want people to see when they first arrive on the blog. So you can set your home page to posts, or you can set it to any page that you want. Remember, a page is not usually constantly updating, but it is static. Sometimes, depending on the theme, how the theme is developed, it might not always work. So you just have to tweak it a little bit until it works, until you get it the way you want it. And so here, this is the membership site that we're inviting you to join. The content is free. This thing should really never. They should not show up until people are going to the back browser, but for some reason it just doesn't do it perfectly. Anyway, at least it comes up. So on this page, Internet Marketing Tutorials, we're showing all of the courses that we have, because this is the first thing that I want persons to see. So depending on what the purpose of your website is, what you want the visitor to see first, that's what I recommend that you put on the home page. So rather than waiting for them to go up here in the menu bar, which has a lot of things up here, the courses are the reason for this site, and so that's why courses are on the home page here. Okay, let me close off some of these things because they tend to get a little competitive. Where are we now? We're at right. So we're talking about reading settings. Now here the blog pages show at least. You could decide if you want the post, the 10 posts, 5 posts, whatever number, you just edit it here. Syndication feed show the most recent, whatever number of posts. We talk about how you can set up a feed. I usually use Google Feed Burner because, I love all things Google, and Google is so generous. They allow me to ping the search engines, the feed. I can, syndicate with some social media settings, etc. For each article in a feed show, you could decide whether you want the full text or summary. I usually put full text. If you do not want search engines to find your site, you click that. There you might have reasons. For example, initially I thought I would just make this a demo site that nobody should find. But then I decided, why waste the site? So I decided to put content on it. Okay, so I hope you're clear so far. Let's move on now to the discussion settings. This is where we are on the left-hand side, number 4, discussion. Remember, we're talking about the WordPress settings, which are important for the functionality of your WordPress website. So this is the discussion settings, and this is where people, discussion, you want to encourage discussion with readers by, commenting. This usually by commenting, but it starts off with the default article settings. Attempt to notify any blogs linked to the article. This must be a typo. Allow link notifications from other blogs, pingbacks, and trackbacks on your articles. I usually allow pingbacks and trackbacks because it's sort of like a sort of networking that alerts the search engines from. When you're a part of a network, you're more likely to be found. Allow people to post comments, yes. Comment author must fill out name and email, yes. Users must be registered. I usually take that off. I don't think I should force users to log in, particularly if I do not, have that feature. You could automatically close comments on articles older than a certain number of days. You can show comments cookies. Opt-in checkbox, allowing comment author cookies to be set. This could be important if you don't want people to have, cookies sort of remind the system that they were there before, it sort of tracks, so they don't have to have to do certain things every time they come to the site. Enable threaded nested comments. You know what? I never even figured that one out. If you go over to wordpress.org, you could read threaded nested comments. That's comments one below the other, I think. I never really bothered with that. I just stick to it. Break comments into pages with 50 top level comments per page, and the last page displayed by default. Okay, that's if you have a very busy site. Comments should be displayed with the older comments at the top of each page. I think I'm going to check that with the newer comments because it might be more relevant. Email me whenever anybody posts a comment. That way I know the need to, I might need to make a response. Email me whenever a comment is held for moderation. Before a comment I usually take that. Comment must be manually approved. Comment author must have a previously, not necessarily. Comments moderation. Hold a comment in the queue if it contains 2 or more links. A common characteristic of comment spam is a large number of hyperlinks. Some people just spam people's websites with comments so that they could, if you post their comments, their links will get picked up by the search engines, giving them a backlink from your site. So you might want to tailor the number of links that are automatically posted with a comment. Avatars are like images that follow you from website to website. So you could display avatars suitable for all audiences. That's the rating, default avatar. You could choose whichever one you want, and then you hit save changes. The next thing we're going to look at is media settings. And remember, we said media refers to images, videos, and audio files. So this, I usually don't trouble this. I just leave it usually thumbnail size, the width and the height. It says crop thumbnails to match to exact dimensions. Medium size, large size. Organize my uploads into month and year based folders. If you're using Cloudflare for free SSL, Cloudflare would restrict the size of your upload, so you need to pay attention to that when you're using Cloudflare. But I use Cloudflare on my other websites. Permalinks are very, very important, and that is how the links to your posts and pages would appear in the search engines. Now let me go to the front end of the site and show you what we're talking about. Okay, trying to get this okay, let's visit the site. I hope I got it. Okay, let's visit the site. Whenever you write a post or a page, the title of your post or page would let me just restate that. Whenever you write a post or a page, you want to find a cohesive, logical, orderly, beautiful way for it to show up in the search engines whenever people are searching for that content. So permalink settings is really where WordPress allows you to create a custom URL structure for your permalinks and archives. So custom URLs have, as I said, lovely. It has to do with the aesthetics of your URLs in the search engines, the usability, and the forward compatibility of your links. So, for example, your website URL is whatever domain name .com .info whatever you have registered in the search engines. So WordPress allows you to decide what should show up in the search engines after that URL. Do you want it to be plain? If you take that, what would show up, it would be query P equal and the number. If you want it to be the and the name, it would be your URL with the year, the month, the date, and the sample post, right? Then the name of the post would be here. If you want it to be month and the name, it would be your URL, the year, the date, and the title of the post. You see their name, which give you year, month, date down here, year and month. If you want it to be numeric, it would be URL/archive/123, a number would come up. If you want it to be post name, it would be URL and the name of the post. And if you want it to be a custom structure, it would be the same as post name. So most WordPress developers would advise you to set your permalink to post name. Sorry, what I really said would show up here. So if you let me show, I don't want to change it because I might run into problems. So always set your permalinks to post name because it's static. It gives a logical, way for the search engines and for people to read whatever it is you contain at that URL. So for example, if you have a query P equal, it absolutely makes no sense to your readers or to the search engines. So let's look at what we're talking about when post name is the permalink. So for example, when you write, let's go back to post. When you write a post or a page, you would see above the post that there is a permalink. So let's go here. This is the last post I just wrote. And if you click on edit, it will take you back to the WordPress editor. And then you see here, that's the permalink. Here is the URL, https://demosite.leanmusclebody.com. And you notice the permalink begins WordPress how to, and it goes to navigate the WordPress admin. So the permalink basically is the same as the title of the post. So when you go into the search engines, this is what it will look like. demosite.leanmusclebody.com/WordPress how to navigate the WordPress admin. So the permalink is very, very important. You notice it just makes absolute sense. If you're looking for, something with a number, it makes no sense. But here, the permalink matches the post. For that matter, I always think things should always work like that in a sort of cohesive manner in WordPress. Let me see. I think there's a website. Let me see. There's a website I have. Let me just check this website. You will see where the permalink, I think, has dates, if I remember correctly. The permalink, I believe, has dates. Let me just check. This is over at one of my websites. pppministries.wordpress.com, and let me just double check and see what the permalink looks like. Let's just find the post. And one of the things I should say about permalinks has to do with the WordPress slug. And I will go back in a while and show you what the slug looks like. Let's just take that one, faith. Okay, that's the category. That's the permalink. This is what is faith. Let me see if I'm right. If I remember correctly, I think this brings up the date. Let me just check. Yes, you see, this is where the permalink is set You notice here it has the year. It has look at that, it's the 13th of April 2014. The URL, the year, the month, the date, and the post name. So this means that this permalink, let's go back down to permalink, would be this one. And that one would have been set by WordPress.com. I didn't mind that at all because, I used to have to go back a lot of times to find content and I'd be like, I think I remember writing it that. So this one, the permalink was set to day and name. Now, in order to get your permalinks correctly, and I'll talk about this again when we're talking about posts. Well, let me make sure I'm finished. Yes, I'm finished. That's the most important thing about settings. But let's just look at something in relation to the post. When you're writing your post, sometimes you might have to edit the post title. Okay? So if you edit the post title, it means you would need to edit the slug. The slug sounds like, you see, this is the slug. If you have this thing blank, if slug is blank, your post would not show up, right? So always make sure your slug matches your title. In some content management systems like Blogger would truncate the post title if it is very long, and that makes it look very neat and tidy in the search engines. I think WordPress does that. I'm not sure. Yes, WordPress does that too. So if you change your title, remember to change your slug. The slug is usually the same as the title, except that everything begins in lowercase and you have little dashes between the words. You see that? So this is WordPress dash, how dash to dash navigate dash the dash WordPress dash admin. So the slug really forms the permalink because let's go back over here. You notice that the permalink here, which is custom post, which is post, has the dashes here. So if you don't change the slug, when you change the title and the permalink would not match, and that would be a bit of a search engine confusion. Even you yourself would be looking for a particular title and it has a different permalink. So just remember that. So to recap, we said that settings are important for the functionality of your WordPress website. I think perhaps one of the most important settings is the permalinks, which you should always set to post, because when you do that, the post title shows up in the search engine and search engines, and it is that title that should contain the keywords for your post so that when people are searching they can find your content. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Click around in your WordPress site. I'm still going to get my affiliate links sorted out because I'm going to give you two references. One to free WordPress hosting. You don't have to pay anything and you get all of these features for free. And the other one is a paid service, which gives you access to the support, 24/7 support. And so the other thing is to go on over to our website, members, we find it for you, members.leanmusclebody.com, where you would enjoy the benefit of all my hard labor. I am a philanthropist and I'm giving away free WordPress tutorials to anybody, whosoever will may come. And It's more than WordPress, actually. It's internet marketing. It's, online business education as a coach and a consultant. That's what I do. We're in the era of online everything. Everybody's online now, and soon people would be, more and more people are going online to manage their businesses. So you need to be able to navigate the online arena, whether or not you're a businessman, a fashion designer, a musician, an athlete, whatever, a superstar, an artist, whatever it is, you need to be able to use the online space effectively to manage your business or to brand yourself. So thanks for watching. Go on over, sign up. You're going to get free resources and enjoy. God bless. Thanks for watching.